Hey guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs, First Division preview show this weekend. Sean Lean, who was singing his heart out at Electric Picnic at the weekend, and Gavin Woods. Sean, I believe you were soaked, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely drenched. I was in the fetal position in my tent on Saturday night.
Guys, we'll start with Athlone against Wexford. Sean, we'll start with you. Wexford probably need a win here to keep up on treaty or have the 6-point gap at the moment. So although Athlone lost last weekend, they have scored. They have scored in 10 of the last 12 games. So their strikers are a bit of a threat up front. But do you think Wexford will come away with the 3 points here?
I think so. I fancy them, and especially Athlone. After a disappointing loss to Bray there last week, they'd be on a low ebb. It is a bit demoralising for Wexford because the draw didn't really do them any good in Treaty 1, obviously, so it's a bit further out of reach. But I'd still fancy them to get business done. And now it's not a surefire thing, but I think this is finally where they get a win, a much needed win that they've been looking for a while now.
Yeah, Gavin, and they'll definitely have one eye on the game in the Markets Fields Treaty against Bray. Jack Doherty, who we've mentioned multiple times on the show, he's still out injured, which is a bit of a loss for Wexford, and they could deal with his creativity in the team, couldn't they?
Yeah, definitely, Keith, especially against Athlone when you have a fella visibility, to be fair to him. It's a game like that where he'd look out, he'd stand out a mile, and how long has he been missing? Probably 4 or 5 games now from, and you can obviously tell that that's the difference with him. But I suppose, look, as Sean just said there, this is the perfect opportunity for him to pick up the 3 points and at least for themselves anyway, at least have a go off the playoffs and just get back into winning ways again. And I suppose, look, if what an opportunity against Athlone, you'd have to fancy him.
Yeah, we say it's an opportunity, but it's a tough place to go, Lissy Woolen, with the plastic pitch and stuff like that. Obviously Cork had the last minute winner up there earlier on the season, and I know Bray have struggled there. I'm not sure if the Waterford results there, Sean, maybe you might remind me.
It was 5-2 the first time, and I can't remember. I think it was 5-2 again the second time.
Okay, so not all teams struggle there, it seems. But yeah, plastic pitch, it's a weird one, and if Alua Gavin is on fire here, he will threaten Wexford, won't he?
Definitely, yeah. I suppose, look, that could be the sticking point for Wexford in that sense, Keith, is where you're not expecting. I suppose it's tough when you're playing against a team and you're saying, "Oh, look, this is probably a great chance of 3 points." And then when the likes of Alua turns up and could be his night, and he could end up getting away. Like we said it before, and we've said it last week. This could be the game where you'll be thinking Wexford pick up the 3 points, and then again Alua could turn up and end up with a hat trick and end up winning the game 3-0 for him. So and he looked from a point of view that how many has he got? 11 goals? Is it this year? Is it 11?
Yeah.
So he's going to look from a personal point of view and think just try and build on that, and for his own sake. And as we said, he'll probably he's built up a great reputation for himself this year, and try and get to a better standard next year, maybe a better team, and try and get as much as goals as he can pop in before the end of the season. So you never know with him. If he gets the opportunities, he'll take them.
I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw here. Sean?
I'm gonna say Wexford 2-0.
2-2.
Cool. We move on to Cobh, Galway. Gavin, Cobh. You're probably the best person to talk to about this, given you live in the region and stuff like that. And we've mentioned their players. The results have improved in the last few weeks, but if Galway have any aspirations of winning the league title, they need 3 points here, don't they?
Oh, 100%, Keith. I suppose the only thing is, it happened when in the reverse fixture when it was down in Coleman's Park and I went down to watch it. I think Galway won it 4-0 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And the same situation happened when Waterford played them down there, where Cobh at the time were good for 20 minutes, conceded stupid goals, and just they just died a death after that. And the Galway game, the Waterford game, exact same thing happened. Now, with all due respect, Darren Murphy, that was in his time, and look, that's gone now. And maybe, as we've said, as we said last week, I think with Shane Keegan, he's tightened them up as the unit as such. Really, I suppose what they'll try and do, if there's any bit of positivity, is try and hold out till half time anyway. And then it's like when Cork City are playing teams in Turner's Cross, and they try and frustrate City. If Cobh can frustrate Galway up to to keep them scoreless or score draw up to half time, you never know. And I suppose like John Caulfield will be eager to get back to winning ways and pick up the 3 points. The funny thing about this is that it's not going to be as easy as I think it was in the reverse fixture. I think it's going to be a lot tighter this time round.
Yeah, Sean, Galway will probably bully Cobh to death here, will they? They're a strong side, and obviously they'll be looking to stay ahead of Waterford. They want to keep that gap there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a small part of me says that that because Galway aren't going very well, that maybe they'll struggle against Cobh. But I think when you look at it objectively, yeah, the way Cobh play probably suits Galway a bit more with their physical style of football, because Galway definitely will win that battle. I think. Yes, and as well as that, Galway look at this for a chance to get back to winning ways, and there's no better opportunity really than this.
Yeah, and we said it last week. Galway have a game in hand on Cork, and they'll be looking obviously to put the pressure on them. So, look, I'm probably going to go with a 3-0 Galway win here. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think 2-0 to Galway. Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Galway, Keith.
Cool. Treaty against Bray. Sean, Treaty are 6 points ahead of Wexford, and they'll obviously look to keep that gap. Bray are on a mini revival as such, with 2 wins in a row. Personally, I think this game has draw written all over it. Bray going so well. Treaty have had a good couple of results in the last 2 weeks, but Enda Curran is probably the big threat to Bray here. He's 11 goals this season. How do you see this on the Treaty side?
Well, I think they have a bit of security now, and they can sort of rest easy. They're not going to catch Longford. Everybody knows that. But now with the result against Cobh, they've put 7 or 8 points now between themselves and Wexford. So that's a huge relief. I don't think anybody, as good as Wexford play ball, I don't think anybody's expected them to win the amount of games they need to in order to catch Treaty. So they still like to win this one, and it is one of their more winnable fixtures. But as you said, Keith, I mean, Bray are on a good run, and it's not going to be an easy job. I thought against Cobh last Friday, Tommy Barrett described the performance as good, and I think that's sort of where that's about right. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. I don't know if that's going to be enough against Bray, especially if they can keep their momentum up. And the Curran's obviously always a threat, but he's one player out of 11, and you can't keep relying on him, especially when Bray are going so well.
Yeah, Gavin, we mentioned Enda Curran will be a threat to Bray, but Ben Feeney seems to have found the scoring boots for Bray. 2 goals last week. He scored in Galway. Colin Kelly was also off the mark for Bray in Galway as well. So, as I said, it's a bit of a mini revival, and they seem to be ending the season on a positive note, which is good for us supporters. It'll be good for the confidence of the team and the background staff as well. Do you see Bray getting anything out of this fixture? I do, Keith, being honest with you. And as you said, like it's what a couple of wins can do for somebody. Obviously, you know better than anybody, but unless there was a chat had or something had that's changed things around, or as you said, Ben Feeney's on form. Is Hugh Douglas is back from injury as well, I think. Am I right there, Keith? Yeah. So like he's even himself there, he's a huge plus to have back in the team as well. And like, look, Bray will be going up there looking to get a result, and they have no reason why they can't go up there and get it. So I think Bray should go up there full of confidence and go up there, and as I said, they have nothing to lose, everything to gain, and I can't see why they can't pick up the 3 points there, Keith.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the draw, as I said from the get-go. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. It was 2-2 earlier on the season, so I think it'll be a repeat of that game. Gavin,
I'm gonna go 3-3.
I'll go 1-1.
Draws all round. Back a loss for someone. Guys, I left this game to last because it's obviously the biggest game of the weekend. It's Sean against Gavin, or Gavin against Sean, or whatever way you want to. It's a huge game for both clubs. Cork obviously going for the league title. Waterford looking to catch Galway to finish in that second spot, which we already mentioned a few weeks ago, that finishing second you play the 5th team, which is only a benefit to the second team. Gavin, we'll start with you. You're on the road. Are you going to the game?
No, I'm not. No, my own team are playing actually Friday night, so I have my own game on myself.
Okay.
So
you're coming off the back of a 2-2 draw against Longford. We mentioned already in the review show last week that it could have went either way, couldn't it? There was chances for both sides. Do you think a draw for Cork here would be a good result?
It's a tough one. I could say yes, but I think really they need the 3 points, and like, this is a game where even if they play bad and they can pick up the 3 points, I think it would be a big thing. I think if they can get away with going down to Waterford and picking up the 3 points, it'll be huge. Like, I suppose, Keith, from last week, Aaron Bolger will be back in the first 11 because he was suspended last week. So, like, he's going to be a huge addition back to the first 11.
Do you think that's what they missed last week, that bit of bite?
Yeah, and that bit of control in midfield. It's just somebody, what he's very good at, Keith, at doing is just getting the ball and very composed on the ball. Like, he moves the ball exceptionally quick, and they lacked that last week. And Rory Keating is back as well. And, as I've said about Rory Keating before, and, Keith will probably, or Sean will probably see, sorry, Sean, you'll probably see it this weekend. He's a pest. And that's the best word to describe him. He's just a pest for defenders, I'd say. He's kind of like, in a sense, Diego Costa, I'd say, really pisses off defenders, and he's just his physical attributes, but he works hard. I really like him. I think he's kind of 50-50 when it comes to Cork City fans. But to have the two of them back, especially, like as you said, like it's important to have a spine of a team strong in your first 11. So to have that down the middle of the park with Bolger and Keating, and I'm guessing that that Colin Healy will start Keating with Cian Murphy up front. As I said, a draw wouldn't be a bad result, but I think it's important that they do pick up the 3 points if they can. And as I said, if it has to be a horrible way of doing it, it will be a huge 3 points. But after last week, I just don't know. That's the honest answer.
Yeah, Sean, Waterford off the back of, like, they'd be disappointed with the results, given they were 2 goals to the good against Wexford at the weekend. They'll obviously have looked at the Cork-Longford game to see where they can isolate particular players from Cork City. I know the second goal for Longford last week was kind of a breakaway down the left-hand side, crossing to Adiemo, so they might be able to highlight that area to attack. Look, Waterford have the players, don't they? Certainly going forward with Junior and Patterson, and where are Waterford at the moment? Are they, obviously they want to win the game? They'll have a say in the title race, but are they comfortable in third place? Do you think the management team are planning for a playoff already?
I think there's plans in place already, but you want to do the best you can for your for your hopes of winning the playoffs, and the best way to do that is to go for second. And especially as well, even if you don't finish second, if Galway somehow go on a run and win all their games from now to the end of the season, they even have a good run of form going into the playoffs is massively important. As well as that, new owners, this is their first derby day. You got to get a taste of what it's all about and, show your best side. It's going to be interesting now because we've new signings coming into the team with Alex Baptiste and Raul Uche. I think it's two good additions because we were missing that experience last week in Wexford. I thought Dean Larkin did very well at centre back, and he held his own. And he did the same down in Turner's Cross as well under an immense pressure. But when he gave away the handball against Wexford there, and his head went, I think that would have been a good time for a substitution, or even to have an experienced defender beside him, to sort of guide him through what you should do in that situation would have been massively beneficial. Going forward, I think we do have the players to open up Cork, but the thing is, it depends on Wasim, because he's sort of like, as Gavin described Rory Keating, he is a pest, and he winds up the opposition, even after the game, he tweeted as good. I remember we missed the penalty against Galway. Phoenix blazed it about 50 yards over the bar, and Galway put up the Hawkeye thing on their Twitter having a go, and he responded to them after the game. He said, "I hope the trip wasn't too long back up home." Stuff like that. That's the kind of player he is. But he's been very hit and miss. He missed the big chance last week against Wexford, but he's after scoring 2 goals now on 3 separate occasions. So it really depends. He could have a massive say in whether or not we win. I think I wouldn't be disappointed with a draw. I wouldn't be majorly disappointed with a draw, but I'd really like to win, because a draw doesn't do a whole lot for getting into second place. I think I have a feeling now that we'll turn in a good performance and that we could get a win. From the Cork perspective, I think I can understand getting a win even if you don't play very well, because that's where Cork are at the moment, that they just want to get the points. But from our perspective, if we won and we didn't play very well, I'd still be a little bit concerned, because you want to have a good run of form heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, just looking from the outside, I think both teams can damage each other. They both have fantastic attacks. I don't want to predict this, because I actually don't know how this game's gonna go. With Waterford being at home, they may have the advantage, but with Cork being on top of the league, they may have that little bit extra. And as you mentioned already, Gavin, with Bulger back, it'd be absolutely crucial that he's in the side. So I'm not going to call it. Gavin, do you want to call it?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Interesting. Sean?
I have to back us, so I'm going to go 2-1.
Interesting. And that opens up the title race completely if that result comes in. Before we go, guys, I just want to mention next League of Ireland player, lads, I don't know if you know him, Dave Scully, who played for Finn Harps, Bohemians and Bray. He was playing for his local club, Montpellier AFC, at the weekend, and he broke his leg in 5 places. And there is a GoFundMe page up and running, so if you want to go on to GoFundMe and have a look at that, if you want to donate or whatever, it'd be fantastic for Dave. Unfortunately, be out of work for a long time, so get well soon, Dave, if you see this video. Horrific thing to happen, so really from all of us at Irish Footy Vlogs, get well soon. Guys, thanks very much for coming on. Best of luck to both of you at the weekend. It's funny, I'll probably have a split screen on that, because as I said, that's the game of the weekend. I'll be watching Bray. I won't be travelling, so I'll be watching Bray and the Waterford game. So best of luck to both. Guys, if you like the content, hit the bell notification and let us know in the comments what you think of the fixtures this weekend. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Keith. Best of luck to Dave.